Okay, good morning again, everyone. Good morning. We're going to get started. Again, we are happy that we have some parents who have decided to join us this morning for our director's chat. We have on the call myself, Ms. Sophia Francis, the Administrative Director of Cortellia Early Childhood Centers, as well as Ms. Lucretia Johnson, our Director of Education at our Academy building on Bedford Avenue. And we also have Ms. Charles, who's the Educational Director at the main location on Cortellia Road. So usually, everyone, we usually have just, curriculum night in September, and then we meet back in November for parent-teacher conferences. And many, many moons ago, we used to have a lot of general body meetings where you would come and sit down and we would talk to you. But now in the, technology age, you can shoot texts and messages and several emails and class dojo messages. We don't meet as much as before. In addition to that, we do have, you see us all the time, but we're also living in the time of COVID. So we really can't assemble as much as we did before, just due to the current height of our country and the world. So we wanted to check in just because we've been in a 1 month of operation since we've been open. And we just wanted to talk about where we are, where we're going, and how everything's going, and just to check in with everyone. So very informal. We're just asking everyone to just be mindful of their background. If you can just mute, you don't have to be on video. We understand it's really early in the morning, but we just wanted to check in with whoever wanted to check in with us. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the new academic year and how it's been going, operating a school in the midst of a pandemic. And I would say for the most part, this year, 2021, 2022 is off to a good start. All of our buildings are up and open. There's laughter again in the halls of our elementary school floors. In addition to circle time, we hear the singing and the music and the movement. Kids are playing on the playground again. Friendship circles are being reunited. New friendships are being made. There's just excitement all around. And it's good to see the kids socializing and talking and interacting with one another. This is a lot different than the previous year when we reopened in September of 2020 after being closed for a little hiatus due to the pandemic. When we opened last year, this time, we had only 33% of capacity at the main building. We had only 50% of capacity at the annex building, and we had about 75% at the academy building. And this year is a lot better. We're at 80% capacity across all of our buildings. So, where people are getting more comfortable, we're getting back out, and we're feeling a little bit more safe. All the different initiatives and research breakthroughs so far that's been going on with the COVID, we're able to come out, vaccinate, and rejoin our different social circles and working environments. However, we're still living in challenging times due to the fact that we are constantly updated with more COVID information, the mandates, various stipulations, and this information is always evolving. And literally always evolving. Week to week, there's always something else going on. But we are trying our best to adhere to the different guidelines that are being put in place, be it the CDC, New York State, Department of Health, Department of Education. There's so many different regulatory agencies that are, offering different opinions on things and the different things that we need to adhere to. But we're keeping abreast on all of the regs. Currently, the requirements and the regulations we put in place at Cortellia that all of our students and staff are wearing masks unless a child, due to health, mental ability, immaturity, are unable to tolerate it. Sometimes it may be an issue for some of our 2s and 3s, or even for some of our older kids, maybe in pre-K, who may be on the spectrum or a little bit, they need additional support with certain things and they can't tolerate keeping on a mask for long periods of time. In addition to that, all of our staff who work within the childcare classrooms, they are required now by new mandates and initiatives that they should be vaccinated or test regularly, and additionally as needed if there are situations that put you in an exposure situation, and we need to regulate that as well. According to the updated, and this is from the CDC regulations, and New York State, I think CDC came out with it about 3 weeks ago. New York State came out with it about a week and a half ago, like we're going to follow the CDC. Like I said, many regulatory agencies that staff and children who now test positive, if they test positive because they were exposed or they were they're asking for the child to be removed from the classroom. But as long as the classroom have been maintaining the social distance and the children are wearing masks, that the class can continue to carry on with the child being removed from the classroom. So this, we're going to adhere to it as well, but not always. It's going to be in different circumstances for classes of 2s, 3s, and 4s. And those are our preschool classrooms. And that's again because of the children not being able always, certain children in the classroom, to maintain keeping their mask on at all times. With our kindergarten classes, first grade, second, third, and fourth, that's never really an issue. There's additional space in the classrooms. There's additional barriers in particular classrooms. Just different things are in place, and those kids work more individually. But in preschool classrooms, a lot of the things they do are collaborative at all times. They're running about at all times. And some of our 2s, and even some of our 3, they're really, really good at keeping their mask on. But there are some children who are outliers, and they eat the mask, they throw the mask, they do different things to this mask, poor mask. And we have to give them several masks throughout the day, but for some of them, it's really a challenge. And I know prior to us reopening in August, I think it was on August 8th of 2020 when we had another Zoom, which was a long Zoom, and we spoke to parents. We had told parents to really practice with your children at home during this pandemic wearing masks. And it's just really imperative. If this is, if we're going to combat this thing, it's really good when they could keep on the mask, even though they do get mask breaks. They go outside, they have to eat, obviously, without a mask. They sleep without their mask. But some kids cannot tolerate the mask, the younger ones. And it's kind of understandable. They're pretty young, but we're trying our best to deal with the pandemic the best way we know how at this time. In addition to that, I would also like to state that approximately 30% of our entire student population has undergone another COVID test during the month of September. Some of you on the call may be part of that 30%. So what has happened is, I don't know if anybody remembers this time of the year. It's usually called flu season. So kids have been sick. Teachers have been sick. A lot of people have been running nose, coughing, things of that nature. But now in the height of the pandemic, we don't know if it's COVID. We don't know if it's the flu. So parents have been taking it upon themselves to get tested again. So when we kind of took a poll of all the different new COVID tests that came in, it was about 30% of the population. And we're pleased to report that all of them have been negative. So that's a good thing. Again, I said we're off to a good start. So, however, though, realistically, this may not always be the case because COVID is still in the air and it's still a very transmittable disease and things happen. But for right now, as of September, 1 month down, we've been COVID-free at Cortellu. And for that, I must commend the school community, our parents, teachers, staff, but definitely our parents for being vigilant, being responsible, being informative, proactive, as well as courteous, as far as safeguarding the school community for everyone, for the collective environment. I cannot tell you how many emails we receive each day where parents are saying, my son or daughter woke up, he or she had a cough, they were sneezing, I'm going to keep him home today just to be safe. Runny nose, I'm going to keep him home today. Oh, it's a second day, but he or she is on the mend. I'm going to keep him home another day. In addition, we went out and got a COVID test just to make sure. Like, that's what I really appreciate, about our Cortellu families. And this was true during our whole entire year last year. Our parents have been very open, honest, and transparent with, I'm traveling, we're going abroad, we're doing this, we're doing that, whatever they were doing, they were letting us know. And we really, really appreciate that line of communication and just the openness of being honest with us. Because for some of you who are new, but for parents who have been with us through the pandemic and prior to the pandemic, we're very transparent. We're always telling you what's going on. We'll send you long emails when we're in the midst of the pandemic. This is what's going on this week. This is what's going on the next week. This is when we plan to reopen. We're always telling you what's going on. And I think because of our lines of communication and us really taking this as a village approach, we have been able to be successful. So as far as COVID, we're here, we're in it together, and we're just hoping that you could continue to work with us in safeguarding the environment, and that we'll continue to work with you and your family is trying our best to keep our doors open for childcare services. But on another note, I wanted to let you know, because I don't know if you know, but operating any business in the midst of a pandemic comes with a lot of administrative challenges. And what I mean by administrative challenges is it's pretty hard. We want to keep everyone safe and healthy. That's the health part of it. But in addition to that, administrative wise, it's could be challenging keeping teachers in classrooms. We see what the Department of Education is going through right now with the different mandates and initiatives that are put in place. And even us being a DOE contractor, for some of our classrooms, we have contracts with the DOE. So what happens is some of their staff supports us, and we've got emails on Friday saying, hey, the staff that kind of supports instructional coordinators, social workers, school nurses, and things of that nature, they're being deployed to classrooms right now into the DOE building simply because we don't have enough teachers in the classroom for Monday. They're working to see what's going to happen for teachers in the classroom on Monday. So this whole mandate, the whole initiative, the whole staffing crisis, it's not only felt by the DOE, who's the bigger entity, where they're servicing 1.1 million children in New York City, but it's also trickling down to the charter schools and the private schools and the early childhood centers, because we're all vying for the same staff. So that is pretty tricky. So we just want you to know that on our end, we're still pretty busy keeping people in jobs who want to be here as an early childhood educator. Because even last year, to be honest, in the midst of the pandemic, I think we opened in September, and around January, we had an influx of people who were ready to come back to school. But we made the conscious decision not to reopen all of our classrooms because we had already went halfway without it, but simply because it's just not any and anyone that we place into our classrooms. The first question that we ask you at a Cortelu interview is, do you love children? Because if you don't love children, this is not the job for you. You have to be patient and kind and loving. These are some of the attributes and characteristics that an early childhood educator have to possess. So you just can't put bodies in classrooms. So, this is not a supermarket. This is not a, just something where it's just a run-of-the-mill type of job. This is a job where you're caring for people's children. You have to really be attentive. Your eyes have to be open. You have to be peeled on what you're doing. So we just don't put people in positions. So we're trying our best right now as the operators of the Child Care Center to make sure that we maintain the staff that we have. We're making sure that we're looking out for them. And we're asking parents, you continue to look out for them as well, because we're trying to keep everyone happy for the most part. We want parents to be happy. We want the teachers to be happy. And we want our kids to be happy. And for that, there's just certain things that, we need to do to make sure that the environment is not only a healthy one, but a happy one. So, this week, another school, because we work with a lot of schools, just, collaborating as childcare centers, another director called me and she was like, Miss Sophia, one of my pre-K teachers came to me and told me she was being heavily recruited. And I was like, really? Oh my God, what did she decide to do? She was like, they were going to give her 10,000 more than that I'm giving her. But she was like, you know what? I feel comfortable here. I'm not ready to make this move. I'm already invested in the kids that I've had for this full month. And, I'm probably going to finish out this year for sure. But maybe next year I'll go on to teach first grade. I'm going to stay with my pre-K kids. But just know that people are recruiting. And if you're an educator, as well. I know a lot of principals are reaching out to their teaching staff saying, do you know other teachers? but it's definitely rough for us. As an early childhood educational facility, we're trying our best, and our teachers love them to death. They are committed to staying with Cortellu, but these are just challenging times all around, not only with staying healthy, but maintaining good staff for our classrooms. So we just wanted to let you know where we stand as far as that, and that we're just asking for parents to continue to bear with us, support us, and to work hand in hand with your classroom teachers, just to make sure that we can have a great academic year. In addition, and I'm going to take some questions from parents as well, I also wanted to talk about the remainder of the year, just a couple of things, and not the academic year, but just the remainder of this year. So for the month of October, the month that we're now in, we have Career Day coming up, and that's the last Friday in October. There's going to be some correspondence going out in regards to if you would like to sign up to do a virtual Zoom and just tell us a little bit about your career and share with our kids. This is with all our kids. This is from our tools class all the way up to our 4th grade class. And you would, Zoom in, tell them a little bit about your occupation. Maybe you're on your job, maybe you're working from home, but we just want people to share their careers. And on Career Day, children usually dress up in future careers. So they can be gymnasts, they can be doctors, they can be anything they possibly want to be. They can be bankers, sometimes they come as teachers. Whatever it is they would like to be, they would come dressed up in that costume for that day. And we also have the morning Career Day piece where we have the parents tap in and they tell us about their careers. It's a good way of exposing children to other careers that are out there, because honestly, they do remember things. They do get to, they do like to see what parents do, and they like to see their mommy and daddy in the screen and in years past in the classroom. Another thing that we need to let parents know is we're reminding you that we are going to be closed for Veterans Day, but now that's I think it's the 11th, but now we're also only for our 3K and pre-K, our DOE contracted classrooms, they will be closed on Election Day. So we're going to be sending out more correspondence on that, because we're sure everyone's not on this call. But we are going to be closed for Election Day only for 3K and pre-K. The other classes, private 2s and 3s, and kindergarten through 4th grade, we will be open for you on Election Day. But the 3Ks and pre-K teachers have professional development, and they won't be in on Election Day. So that is not a day that we will have service for them, nor extended day. We will have our Thanksgiving luncheon, but it'll be similar to last year. We're not asking for families to cook food. We will cook it as a regular school lunch, but we'll cook the yams, the chicken, the Thanksgiving niceties that we like around that time of year. We'll have that on that Monday, and we're still not inviting parents in at this time, just due to the heightened stuff. But we'll of course have pictures on Class Dojo, and they'll be dressed up in their, Thanksgiving garbs if they choose to make little hats like they used to do. And in addition to that, other than that, the only other thing is to take note of, we have 2 half days that are going to be coming up in this